What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. Here we are, the 38th team selection video of the season and the final one. So as always, I'm going to go through how I did in game week 37, then look ahead to the final game week. I'm looking for a differential move this week. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I've got some options which I'm going to run through. Then I'm going to talk about captaincy, differential captain, and all that good stuff. I have partnered with Weekly 7 for this video. If you haven't checked it out, there's a link in the description below. If you're from the UK, 18 and over, it's completely free, and you get a £5 Uber Eats voucher just for playing. So you might as well give it a go. Link in the description. I'll go through my picks later on. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at game week 37. It was pretty rubbish, right? I think most people had a pretty poor week. If you got kind of 55, 60 points plus, you probably got a green arrow. It was that kind of week. I'm on 50, or I got 52 points with a 4-point hit, so 48 points in total. And I'm down to 2,077. I was on like 1,800 rank, so I've only dropped about 200 places. It was a minor fall. In the end, I did take the hit last week for Mane. So Mane came in for Jota, and I took Iheanacho out for Jefferson, right? Because I just assumed he would keep starting. He's very cheap to put on the bench. I'm not expecting him to score a huge amount of points. Unfortunately, the other move that I was really considering on deadline was Antonio. Now, had I gone for Antonio instead, he scored 3 more points than Mane, and I wouldn't have taken the hit, so I'd have been 7 points up, and I would have got a green arrow. So I'm slightly regretting that, because I think having Antonio on the last day would be good, and I'm not against doing it, but as you'll see with my transfers, it's not really at the forefront of my mind. So Mane getting 6, it would have been nice if he got more, but to be honest, the one thing I got away with was Kane. He was awful, like really awful. I haven't checked, but I think he only had 1 shot from memory, and that was it. Maybe 2 in the box, something like that, for the whole game. And then I had to watch Salah, which was painful. And luckily, Salah blanked as well. So the difference in captaining Kane and Salah was only 1 point. It's funny how the match is full, isn't it? Because if Salah had played first and blanked, I'd have been like, right, I'm really happy to watch Kane. Fair enough, he blanked, whatever. But because it was the other way around, like I'm really just thinking I really massively got away with it. Bamford, really good, 12 points. Very happy with him because I backed him over Calvert-Lewin and Antonio. And so far, he's outscored them both. Although, obviously, for anyone that had Bamford and Antonio, you're looking really good. And Trent chipped in with 6 points. Otherwise, pretty poor around. I'm happy with Leeds once again with Dallas. Lingard got an assist very late on. But yeah, it was just a pretty whatever week. But obviously, we're about to go into game week 38 now, which is a huge week. So I'm going to talk about my weekly 7 picks, and then we're going to go into my transfer and captaincy for the last week. And I'm tempted to go very differential. So as I said at the start of the video, I have partnered once again with Weekly 7. And my question to you is, if you're from the UK and you're 18 and over, why haven't you checked it out yet? Link in the description below. It's completely free to play. And just for playing, you get a £5 Uber Eats voucher. That's almost as good as winning £1 million anyway. Pizza, Chinese, the world's your oyster. And if you do get all 7 scores right, you do get that £1 million. As I said, it is 18 or over. There's links to BeGambleAware in the description below as well. And obviously, hit that link below to try it out. I'm going to go through my scores. You just got to predict 7 of them. So this is obviously for the final game week now. So Arsenal versus Brighton, I got to be honest, I don't expect too much from Arsenal like I haven't all season. I'm just going to go 1-0. I think Brighton can score in this one. I'm not necessarily seeing an Arsenal clean sheet. And I don't think they're going to score too many. Neither of these sides have really got much to play for at this point. Villa versus Chelsea. Chelsea a lot to play for. Top 4 spot. Obviously, it'll remain to be seen whether, Jack Grealish will play 90 minutes in this, etc. But I think Chelsea will win it. And I think they got a good chance of a clean sheet as well. Leicester versus Spurs. Really tough now for Leicester to get top 4. And I think Harry Kane going for the golden boot. You never bet against him. And maybe I've got memories of previous seasons, but I'm going to go for a big score. And I'm going to go for 3-2. No clean sheet in this one. Last day of the season, massive score. Liverpool versus Palace is tricky because Liverpool need to win the game. They don't necessarily need to score loads of goals. But I think they will win to 0. So I'm going to go 3-0. Remembering the reverse fixture was like, 7-0 or something crazy like that. Salah came off the bench and scored loads of goals. So I'm going to go for 3-0 in this one. Man City, Everton. Doesn't matter what team City put out. They're winning, but they have been conceding a few recently, so I'm going to go for 3-1. But Man City winning that no matter what squad they put out. West Ham versus Southampton. I think, again, West Ham probably win this. Southampton just haven't been great recently, but I can see him scoring, so I'm going to go for 2-1. And I think Wolves versus Man United has got the chance of being maybe just as dull as Arsenal versus Brighton, because Wolves nothing to play for. Man United got second place to secure. I'm expecting them to rotate as well. So I'm going to go for another 1-1. And that is it. That's all you have to do. 7 scores. Let me know below what you think of mine and what you're going for this week. You just submit your entry and your Uber Eats voucher should pop up. And if it doesn't, you can just click on your wallet, which I'll show you now. And yeah, that's it. If the voucher doesn't pop up for whatever reason, just click the wallet at the bottom and then vouchers at the top, and you can see them there. You can use them on Uber Eats and just get that £5 off. So if you haven't tried it out, link in the description below, completely free to play. Make sure you give it a go. So because I took the hit last week, I've only got 1 transfer going into the final week. And I feel like maybe I kind of went a bit early, right? I showed my hand a little bit early because I got in Mane and now I've got no money to spend. So I can't really take a massive punt. Although, to be fair, when I talk about transfers, there aren't many players kind of 9 million or over I'd even be looking at this week. So thankfully, I've not completely blocked myself from making a transfer. And I kind of knew that last week anyway. So 105 million squad value, 0.7 in the bank. So this is the defence and goalkeeper. Martinez is staying, right? He got another 3 points last week. The upside in changing the keeper is so low for one game. Like, if you manage to do, you know, if I did Martinez to a goalkeeper, whoever it might be, and they ended up saving a penalty and getting a clean sheet, or even just saving the penalty would probably be enough, then sure, you get a massive points bonus, but it's just not worth it. So Martinez will be staying. He's done enough this season to warrant a place in my last day squad. I think I'm more likely to move a defender on. Trent and Dallas obviously staying. I got Dallas in. I got him in a few weeks ago where I wasn't planning on playing him, but I think he came off the bench. But ultimately, he was in for the last 3 weeks. I just didn't want to burn a transfer before my free hit. That's why I bought him in early. And 2 clean sheets in a row. He did get a yellow, so he ended up on 5 points last week. But West Brom at home looks good. I think, and I could be wrong, that Leeds versus West Brom is the game with lots of goals in this weekend. We'll see how much rotation Leeds go with, but I think it is. That does mean that Dallas potentially won't get a clean sheet, but at the same time, he's got 2 clean sheets and 2 for me, and his attacking potential is great too. So very happy to play him. And Trent, obviously, still looking really good. I think Trent's looked brilliant over the last kind of maybe 6 to 8 game weeks, possibly even more. So yeah, obviously I'm keeping him. And then I've got Dawson. I didn't even talk about him in the review. Another 1-pointer. He's been awful. Declan Rice is back. I've got no excuses for West Ham now. Just not as good as I thought they were. But to go from 5.5 points per game to, I don't even know what he's on for me now. He's probably not even on 1 point per game because of all the minuses. But Burn plays Arsenal and Konza plays Chelsea. I definitely don't want to double up on Villa defence. So I think right now it's Dawson unless I make a transfer on that. So that's the defence. Looking fairly good. I'd say half the players are decent. Half, let's see if they can get something good. Let's have a look at the midfielders. It doesn't exactly work like this, but obviously I didn't go for Antonio. I went for Mane instead. So Mane versus Antonio in a 1 week shootout probably isn't the worst thing, although the way things are going right now, I'd possibly rather have Antonio if I had to bet money, but we're trying to bet on FPL points, and I think in a 1 game shootout, I'm more than happy to have Mane in a game where I hope Liverpool can get a clean sheet, so he's already ahead there, extra point if he can get a goal, etc. And Crystal Palace at home is a decent fixture. It's at Anfield. They need to win. There is the only slight doubt, I guess, in my mind is they only need to win. Right, I think the goal difference now, they're 4 ahead of Leicester. So even if Leicester win, I don't see how are Leicester going to beat Spurs by a 4-goal margin. Therefore, Liverpool just need to win. Now, will they get 1-0 up, 2-0 up and start to defend? I don't see it. But how much will they push it? I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see how that game plays out. But Salah for me is easily the standout captain. Like in game week 36, I captained Salah. In 37, I was genuinely split between Salah and Kane. In the end, I felt like I just got away with it. This week, Salah's a standout by a mile for me. There are differential options: Antonio, Bamford, Mane, etc. But he's the standout. But I am 17 points off a top 1,000 finish, and I need to decide how different I want to go. So, do I go safe with Salah, lock in probably what will be my best ever finish, or do I go for Mane captain, which I'm seriously considering? That gives me a potential push for top 1k, but if it backfires, he blanks, Salah gets, 15 points or something like that. Of course, the punishment is kind of halved because I own him, so I wouldn't lose out on the full 30 points, etc. But if I ended up not getting my best ever finish, how much would I regret that? So it's all about whether I want to take the risk. Right now, I am literally 50-50. I'm not sure. I'm very tempted to go Mane. I've talked about this before, but a couple of seasons ago, 2018-19, I went for Sterling captain in 38. After considering Mane captain as a differential so much, I went for Sterling as a bit of a, okay, let's just hold where we are move. And the difference in points was only like 3 points between Mane and Sterling captaincy, but that 3 points would have given me a 4-digit finish, so top 10k instead of the 12k that I got. So still a good finish, I know, but it's always nice to get down to that lower number amount of numbers. So Mane is definitely a consideration. With the rest of them, Rafinha's staying. I think, like I said, I think that West Brom game is really going to be open, and then it's just down to Lingard and Son. They are two of the players that I would basically consider for transfers. So all the Liverpool boys, all the Leeds boys are staying. Son, like, I'm not sitting here like really keen. I've got to get rid of Son. Like, I don't want to force him out. And I'm sure if there was a few more game weeks left, I'd definitely keep him. But there's only one. There's only one more week now to make up some points. Son and Lingard are both heavily owned. I'm okay, like with captaincy I'm undecided, but I'm okay taking a punt against the effective ownership for those two players. So they're up for the chop potentially, not saying for definite. And then the other transfer would be Konza out, and the only reason for that is he's got a worse fixture than Dawson, and he's worth more money to me, so he's worth 4.7 instead of 4.5. So I get more to spend on the defender, and I would just bench Dawson instead. But I think the midfield is looking pretty good. Lingard getting an assist, obviously, last night was good. But I think there's possibly more explosive players around his price if I can nail the right one. So that's why I'm considering taking him out. But yeah, captaincy's on Salah. I'm so tempted to switch to Mane. I just don't know if I've got it in me. So I'll quickly talk about strikers because I'm going to go through potential transfers in just a second. Bamford again, love the guy. Yes, I know I got it. People still tell me how much I got it wrong at the start of the season. Like, get over it. We're past it now. I appreciate he's great. Leeds are really good. And from an FPL point of view, he's really decent. Right now, he's my vice captain, just to go a bit different than just doing the Salah and Mane captain vice. But that will possibly change. With Kane, right, I say it again, last night's game against Aston Villa was atrocious. It was such a poor Spurs performance. They did okay in the second half, and Bale came on, definitely helped a little bit, but they barely kind of troubled Martinez at all after the goal. Like, the goal was well taken, it was well won high up the pitch by Bergwijn, but after that, it was just so bad. Like, I was frustrated for two reasons. One, I had to watch it, and I had Kane captain. No, sorry. One was because I had Kane captain. He wasn't doing anything. And two was just simply I had to watch it. And it was so bad. But like Kane to Antonio is something I would consider. I just wonder, right? I know a lot of people talk about how Kane's kind of demeanour, body language, etc. And he was holding back tears at the end, etc. They think this is the end of him at Spurs. Like, that must have been, if that's true, then, and he does want to go, which I still don't know if we 100% know whether that's true or not, but there's a lot of rumours, then it probably was quite hard playing in front of the home fans for the last time for him. Maybe, and this is me writing a narrative here, it's going to be easier playing away from home. It hasn't got the expectation from the crowd. Leicester are going to have to, they need to win the game, and they have to go for it. They need, I mean, if you know, somehow Crystal Palace are 2 or 3-0 up, then yeah, okay, Leicester can hold back a little bit and just protect any lead they might have. But if they need to win and get massive goal difference, it could leave them open. I don't think Rodgers is going to go from the off and just completely go for it. But it could be counter-attacking opportunities. Obviously, mostly that would come down to Son then. But Kane's usually the one delivering the ball, and he often is in the box as well. So I think in the grand scheme of things with this team, yes, I'm willing to take a bit of a risk, but I don't think Kane out is the one. So for me, out of this whole squad, Lingard, Son, and basically Konza to replace Dawson, so transfer Konza out and bench Dawson, they're the three transfers I'm looking at. Let's look at them right now. So these are the potential transfers I'm looking at. Just a couple of things, right? One, I'm not sitting here saying these are, you know, definitely the three that I'm going to take, one of these three that I'm going to take out. That probably will be. And that these are definitely the players that I'm only looking at bringing in. Because something might change, right? Press conference news could change things. Early team sheets could change things as well. But this is kind of a list I've narrowed it down to ish right now. It's the last game of the season, right? It's a difficult one to get right. If I didn't have Rafinha, right, or I had a spare Leeds spot, I would just get another Leeds attacker. But I'm already tripled up. And I've got a lot of comments and tweets saying, saying, why are you thinking of selling Lingard? He's got a good fixture. I absolutely agree. If you've got a better transfer to do, do it. But as you can see from my team, most of the fixtures are quite good. And as I've said lots of times this week, triple Leeds is staying, triple Liverpool's staying, Kane is staying. So that's already 7. Martinez is staying, that's 8. Therefore, I literally only have 3 other players to even think about, right? So for Konza, or maybe I should have written this on the screen, I have 5.4 million to spend maximum. For Lingard, it's 7.2 million, and for Son, it's like 10.4 million. This is what I was saying. I can pretty much get any midfielder I want there, apart from obviously De Bruyne and Fernandes, but I don't think Fernandes is going to start anyway, so I'm not too worried about him. Obviously, Rashford didn't start the Fulham game, so maybe he gets the Wolves game. I'd be surprised, but maybe he's someone to consider. But for Konza, like if I'm going for a defender, yes, I want clean sheet capability, but I also want attacking potential. So Tierney against Brighton, I'm not 100% sure on how that game's going to go, because Brighton are good defensively, but it's the last day and they're away from home. So maybe in front of the fans. I don't want to put too much emphasis on in front of the fans, but it is in the back of my mind. So Tierney there, and then Reece James, simply because I can't afford Chilwell. And I know that Reece James has been playing right centre-back, but according to Chelsea fans, that was all to do with marking or being able to basically keep up with Jamie Vardy, not being stuck out on the wing, and Azpilicueta getting caught out by his pace. So I think he's more likely to play right wing-back because Grealish is there, right? So it'd be like Grealish up against Reece James, Grealish up against Azpilicueta. It's a bit of a risk because I don't 100% know if he'll start, but I think he will, right? It's an important game for Chelsea. Can Chelsea get a clean sheet against Villa? Look, part of the problem for Spurs was not just that Spurs were bad, it was that Villa were quite good, but Chelsea are just a much better team right now. They're much better organised. And so I think they got a better chance at it. Like I'm just looking now through the other defenders. I don't know who I would get. Like, I don't want to make a boring move like a Burnley defender in or something like that. It's just not exciting enough for me, even though they've probably got the clean sheet locked in against Sheffield United. And I'm just trying to think of attacking defenders really that I don't already own. I have Trent. I can't get Robertson. I can't go for Phillips. I can't get another Leeds defender. And Man United could rotate. Tellez possibly. I'm not even sure how much he is actually. Let me have a look. Tellez last day punt. He's 5.3, so I could get Tellez. So potentially him against Wolves. But if Man United completely change their lineup, just not sure. Again, Cresswell, he's probably too expensive. Let me have a quick look. I know I'm talking about other players that aren't on the list. Yeah, he's 5.6, so he's too much. Like, going to Sofau and benching Dawson, that's just way too sideways. It's not a Game Week 38 move for me. So yeah, if you've got a different defender there's no more than 5.4 million, let me know what you think. For Lingard, like I said, it's 7.2 million. I really want the Man City the team sheet. I do think Torres starts because he was going to start the last one and ended up going off because of the red card. So any Man City player that starts in that front three, I'm looking at. So Foden and Torres definitely on my list. If I see that they're starting, that will probably be my move. And again, Lingard out, I'm betting against effective ownership. I'm betting against the fact that he's got a good fixture. I get that. But for a 1 week punt, I'm happy to, try it. And then I've got to put Willock in there because he's playing really well. Realistically, I don't want to do Lingard to Willock. It just feels a bit sideways. But I'm not completely against it. Again, 7.2 million. I'm looking at other midfielders and I'm struggling to find someone else, especially when I've already got 3 Leeds players. And then the other option is Son out. Now, the reason I would possibly do this is if, Mahrez is starting, or I know that Pulisic and Havertz are starting, and I don't know if Foden and Torres are, so I might take the risk to remove Son instead. It's 10.4 million. Again, I'm not really seeing any other midfielders. I could go for Bale, but Son to Bale, it's just, again, it just doesn't feel like a decent enough Game Week 38 move. If in the back of my mind I was like, right, I've definitely got a Captain Bale in this fixture, then maybe I do it. But against Leicester, it's just not going to happen. So right now, I think Son is the least likely one I will sell, because I do think Villa with Grealish is just a different team completely. And obviously, I've said this lots of times, he's not a defender, but he pulls the team forward and he helps them keep possession of the ball much better. So getting Son to Mahrez, Pulisic or Havertz is quite the punt. I'm more comfortable doing Lingard to one of the Man City boys. And if that falls through, if I'm not sure of the Man City team sheet and I'm not sure of the Chelsea one, then I'll probably go for a defender. Reece James possibly. But I kind of like the idea of Tierney against Brighton. I know he's done me dirty this year, Tierney. When I bought him in, then he went and got injured, got me no points. But as attacking defenders go against Brighton, it's not the worst fixture. They're at home as well. But like I said, I'm up for suggestions. Right, as I always say, I'm not this guru that knows absolutely everything. Sometimes, need a little bit of help as well. So let me know in the comments below. Konza, 5.4 million. Lingard, 7.2. Son, 10.4 million. Who's your best punts? There we go. That is the last team selection video of the season. I wish I could narrow down my transfers a little bit more, but it's game week 38, right? It's the last time we got to get any points for our team. I don't want to mess it up. I want to keep an open mind as well. I don't like being kind of, pigeonholed or blinded into one kind of transfer without thinking about the rest. So there is quite a few things to decide, but obviously I'll be doing a deadline stream this weekend as well, so you'll be able to see whatever I end up going with. I'm really looking forward to the deadline stream, but also not, because I feel like I'm going to push myself into Mane captain and I'm not 100% certain on it yet. I need to give it a lot of thought. But yeah, Man City team sheet on Sunday would be excellent for my transfers. I think if I don't get that, I might just default to a defender move, which is extremely boring, but it might be the way I go. Someone attacking, though. It has to be someone attacking. I don't want to bring in like a centre-back who barely ever scores a goal. So there we go. Anyway, that's my thoughts for my team. If you haven't tried out Weekly 7, I have partnered with them. There's a link in the description below. If you're from the UK, 18 and over, make sure you give it a go. It's completely free to play. Just for playing, you get a £5 Uber Eats voucher. And if you get all 7 scores correct, you get £1,000,000 as well. Let me know what you think of my picks. And lastly, big shout out to everyone that signed up to Patreon. Thank you very much for all your support this season. If you haven't checked it out, there is a link in the description below. And obviously, I'll have a few more Q&As and stuff over there before the season is out. I'm going to leave it there. Give it a like. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday for plenty more content.